Hey, what's up guys, Mixoplex here. In today's video we're going to be playing the Holy Priest in the dungeon Atal'Dazar in Battle for Azeroth. Now this video isn't going to have too much commentary, but I am going to point out certain mechanics as a healer that you'll need to look out for, just to make your life a little bit easier when you can get access to his content either in beta or in live. Alright, so we're on the first boss, Priestess Alunza. Now, Alunza is fairly simple. There's three different mechanics here. She does the golden orbs that path from left to right. These are simple orbs that you can easily avoid. Now, they're not too slow, they're not too fast. They're just kind of a normal speed. Then there is transfusion. When transfusion comes out, you're going to want to grab one of the blood pools right away. As a healer, I would assume you'd want to get the furthest one away. That way, if you have any melee in your group, or even ranged, it's easier on them if they need to get it right away, just because, I mean, you don't want them to not get it, basically. One thing you can do here as a priest, you can go ahead and grip a melee, that way they can get the debuff. You can also grip your tank as well. The only reason I wouldn't do that is because if they don't have mobility available to them at that time, the boss is definitely going to move, which I think if you are wanting to tank this fight, you're going to want to tank her up on the podium anyway, so that's probably the best tanking spot. Then there is Gilded Claws. Now, Gilded Claws is a magic ability that she gives herself that gives her increased melee damage. This is something you're going to want to automatically dispel. And now a shaman can dispel this, a hunter can now dispel it as well. So just try and keep this dispelled at all times if possible. If not, it's fine. I imagine this might get buffed in higher mythic difficulty levels, or just in general. So I would just keep practicing dispelling it because it's more damage that you can easily avoid. But pretty straightforward fight. Just do those three simple mechanics, and it's pretty easy. Alright, so we are on the second boss, Volkal. Now, Volkal is probably, I would say, the hardest boss in here to heal. He just has a lot of damage output that he does. Once you get past the first phase of the totems, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure your tank positions them correctly and he kites correctly. Now, during this fight, he will periodically drop green patches on the ground. Your melee or your ranged are going to have to get out of these right away, as they do like 15-20% of tick. I mean, it's pretty deadly stuff. On top of the disease debuff that he throws out to the whole group, you're going to have to be rotating dispels consistently throughout this whole fight. Now, as a priest, you can dispel his disease, so it's awesome. I've healed this as a wrestle shaman, and it was very, very tough. But one thing you're going to want to do here as a priest, you're going to want to rotate mendings on cooldown the whole time. It's small, it doesn't heal that much, but it definitely helps. Keeping renew on everyone as well is great. This is just one of those fights where I was trying to just keep the tank up at all times. Unfortunately, we were four-manning it as well, which, you know, definitely didn't help. But you're going to most likely use Divine Hymn here, as well as Symbol of Hope to help with mana issues. But overall, it's a straightforward fight. Just rotate dispels, make sure you don't stand in stuff, and just make sure your tank is kiting it, you know, correctly, and just hopefully have the DPS to do it. If you have a Bloodlust, this is definitely one of the fights I would say you would most likely need to use it.
Master, gonna build me again.
So we are on the third boss, Rosanna. Now, Rosanna is probably the easiest boss in here by far. He only has a couple mechanics you currently need to look out for. He has the Terrifying Visage. Now, this is something you can avoid with good positioning. Your tank should definitely be tanking him on one of these pillars, just like I do in my Vengeance Demon Hunter video. But tank him on a pillar, and it's you can easily avoid the AoE fear. Now, he also has an ability called Devourer. He'll basically target a random person in your group, and he'll fixate on him for, I think, 10 seconds or something like that. If he gets to you, he will actually devour you and do At the moment, small amounts of damage. I imagine this at a higher mythic difficulty level or just with more tuning will probably hit for a lot harder. It feels like it hits for nothing at the moment. So at the moment, you can easily heal through it. You can actually cast while you're inside his mouth. So if you end up getting hit as a healer or a holy priest, you're going to want to just spam heal yourself if possible. It's kind of one of the reasons why I use Binding Heal in this dungeon, as there's a lot of mechanics where I tend to get hit that you can't really avoid, and it just makes things easier with how it reduces cooldowns on 2 holy words. Not a go-to heal all the time, but it definitely helps. Then there's also another mechanic as well, is the bleed. The bleed does a lot of damage on your tank. This is one of the things that the tank is going to have to know ahead of time. When they get the bleed debuff, they're going to need to pop a personal, like shield block, razor spikes, whatever. They're going to need to pop something to reduce the bleeding effect. It does probably, I would say, 60% of the damage here. Aside from that, it is very straightforward. Just make sure you have a holy word available just in case the bleed becomes too much damage, or make sure you have Guardian Spirit ready to go. Another thing you could do here that I remembered is if you tend to pull too many of the raptors, you will not really be able to run away from the fear. So make sure if you do activate any of the bone piles, make sure your tank gets aggro on them right away. Otherwise, you're going to be slowed the entire time. They don't hit that hard, but it's the slow that kills you. Especially with the fear. If you're getting feared and your tank is dying and you can't do anything about it, you're kind of screwed. So just make sure you're positioned correctly for the terrifying visage. So on the final boss, the Yasma, the boss mechanics are pretty straightforward. There's 3 things you're going to want to look out for here. One of them being Racking Pain. Now, Racking Pain is a debuff that she throws on one target. It does a substantial amount of damage. You're going to want to have your group make sure they interrupt this no matter what, as it's, I would say, probably the second deadliest mechanic here as a healer that you need to heal, and it's a lot of damage right away. And if people get focused by it and they take maybe added damage by the purple pools later on in the fight, it's too much. They will most likely die. Unless they have a personal they can pop, they will most likely die. Now for your second mechanic is Soul Rend. Soul Rend is a mechanic where she will throw a kind of an icon above your head. You're going to want to get max distance here and just make sure that it's positioned far away from the boss. If an ad does reach the boss, you're in some deep shit. You'll notice you're going to probably, if it does happen, you're probably going to pop Divide Him just to keep up, and even then, you're not guaranteed to actually live, because she will continue her other abilities as well. So it's not a wipe, but it could be. It definitely could be. The one thing you can do here as a Holy Priest is stun the NPCs, throw a Holy Fire on, help your DPS out. Again, you can maybe even grip one of your melee if you know they don't have mobility, like DKs, for example. Throw them a grip, help them out. If not, it's all good too. But you're going to want to stay max distance for the Soul Rend. Make sure your group knows to kick Racking Pain at all times. And just avoid purple stuff. It's a straightforward fight, but the mechanics in this fight they hit very hard. So it's definitely a derp check, and just making sure interrupts are #1 priority. I'd like to take a moment and thank you guys for all the love lately. We've been getting a substantial amount. I think we've almost hit 200 subs in 2 weeks, which is amazing. So thank you guys that have subscribed to the channel. Seriously, I love y'all. But also the support we got during the live stream. I think we've been hitting 30 viewers almost every time now. We've had some amazing conversations and some good people just hanging out. So consider, if you like the videos, come join us during our live streams. I'll make sure to schedule them in advance. Hopefully during that day. That way, if you want to see the specific time, you can definitely see it. I think it shows up in the videos, or it maybe shows up if you have the remind me of activity. I'm not too sure how YouTube does that, but I'll make sure to schedule that for you guys on YouTube. That way you can kind of see it. But our next live stream is going to be on Tuesday at 12 to 1 p.m. EST, where we're going to just cover BFA. We're going to talk about it, rotate some classes, do with the usual things. But again, consider stopping by, and just if you got any pressing questions about Alpha, about a certain class, a certain spec, I most likely do have an answer for you. So just stop by, hang out, and just hang out for a bit. I mean, no hurt, no hurt, no foul. Now, if you guys liked this video, please hit that like button. If you didn't, hit the dislike. It's all good. If you want to help us out and hit that 1K subscription mark, if you're very appreciative, please consider subscribing as well. Now, for those that weren't in the know, unfortunately, this video was delayed by a day because my PSU, my power supply, actually died. It lasted a while, but it was definitely... I didn't think it was going to die this soon, but it, I mean, it's whatever. But I did get a replacement right away, so hopefully no more random computer issues pop up so we can bust out this content. But thank you guys again for all your support, and stay tuned for more Battle for Azeroth Alpha videos, guys. Thank you very much.